Lovely welcome to this next transmission and contemplation, this time Gene Key number 8. And Gene Key number 8 is very personal to me also, and it's in general a Gene Key that is very personal to the whole of humanity and each individual soul. So let's jump right into this weekly Gene Key of the Siddhi of Exquisiteness. The gift is the style and shadow mediocrity. It's written in the book Diamond of the Self. That already explains a lot about what this is about. It's really to find, to dig out the diamond of your uniqueness and to express this into your outer world, into this physical world. So the partner of this is the 14th Gene Key. We'll put the information here again. And the psychology is the thyroids, the Adam's apple. I'm quite sure it's somewhere here in that area. I hope so. If not, I will also put it there now. I guess it's about the expression also, and it's a part, the thyroid is a part of the throat somewhere inside. I'm quite sure. It's the part that can be over and under stimulated, and a lot have this kind of challenge in their life, and they take some medicine because it's not in a balanced way. The Codon ring is the ring of water, which means this is the partner, the Codon ring partner of the second Gene Key that we have already been contemplated the last time, or 2 weeks ago. And let's go right into the shadow mediocrity. It's written beyond the comfort zone, and when you look at the world in which we live today, especially the Western world, it is quite extraordinary how many people live such similar lives. The 8th shadow, like all the shadow frequencies, is founded upon a specific fear, and in this case it is the fear of being different. The 8th shadow prevents individuals from rising out of the mass consciousness and exploring the real adventure of life. The true nature of individuality is rebellion, but rebellion is unsafe, so the mass consciousness of humanity chooses the illusion of security instead. There's a very big topic. You kind of have to jump into this water to learn and to know how to swim, and a lot of people are scared to jump in their own water. So everyone jump into the same the same kind of ocean in a way, and then they swim all very similar in their lives. In the Western world in particular, your individuality is imprinted very early in life. One of the issues addressed repeatedly throughout this book is the influence of modern education, especially in the years leading to the age of 7. Most educational systems encourage sameness rather than difference, because difference threatens the system itself. Yeah, no need to add anything of that, right? We all know how this is working for a lot of children and how it has been working for us especially. Doesn't matter who is watching, because all of the generation that is probably watching had to a certain degree this similariness in the school, in the society, in the educational system. So yeah, another one in the book, the radical question of the 8th Gene Key is this: is formal education really needed at all? In our modern world, the inflexibility inherent in our educational system is becoming more and more of a problem, or a challenge in a way also. Naturally, there will always be certain children who show a disposition for formal learning, some in variety of subjects and others in specific subjects. However, many other children simply do not need a formal education and certainly do not respond well to one. One of the deep fears emerging from the 8th Chinky is the fear of success. This fear is reinforced through its programming partner, the 14th shadow of compromise. Like, we compromise a lot in our life then. You compromise your dreams not because you fear you will fail, but because you know that to succeed you will have to rebel against the whole society and its expectations of you. Let's do this again, okay? So this fear is reinforced through its programming partner, the 14th shadow of compromise. You compromise your dreams not because you fear you will fail, but because you know that to succeed you will have to rebel against the whole society and its expectations. Is kind of like also good to make this 2 times, because this is so essential that we always kind of have these expectations, and society gives us the expectations of what we should do, how we should treat ourselves and the family and our children and our work, what we do, how long we work from morning to evening and then sleep and have this until the rest of our lives. There are so many expectations in society that might not even fit your style, what is the gift here, or your exquisiteness, which is the Siddhi, that you just do your fullest pure conscious potential and you bring this and you express this into this world. So it's also written here, you fear that you might become, you fear what you might become because you do not know who you are. That's a very funny one. Yeah? Most of us somehow do not know who we are, which is to one aspect is a very big potential, because it's like fun and it's like funny, like to have this breakout in a way, and to always discover yourself. And that's also what life in a way is about rediscovering yourself, have new experiences in life and enjoy life. And mediocrity is holding you back in that life, and it's written about mediocrity here also. Mediocrity is defined by others rather than by yourself, and mediocrity has 2 main functions. Firstly, it keeps you from thinking outside the box. Under the influence of this low frequency, you think like everyone else, look like everyone else, and more or less behave like everyone else. And you will do this based on what others may or may not think about you. The second function of mediocrity is to serve the machinery of society rather than evolution. In other words, you become a cog in the wheel of the systems established by man. In so doing, you become a part of the background of life rather than a major player. And mediocrity prevents people from being heroes or heroines. We may watch, for example, like there's a nice example about this, we may watch films and movies of others and may even be deeply moved by them. But the 8th shadow prevents us from believing in ourselves enough to embody such a life. So, and the movie industry knows that, and the Hollywood and all of that, they know all of this, and for sure they can also use this to their advantage, and they not only can do it, they do it since a long time already. And it also deep down ourselves shows our deepest desires is to live this life that at the same time we do not have the courage to experience and to embody. It's also this chinky about being the free thinker in a way. So it's written here, what is a free thinker? It is someone who can see beyond the current structures imposed by life. It is a person who lives for the spontaneity of his or her own creation. Free thinkers also live freely. They follow no one, even though they may have been influenced and inspired by others. So it's really like that the free thinker purpose in a way, and they want to liberate more people to think freely. So it's very an exciting path, definitely. So there are always like the two natures. The first is the repressive from mediocrity, is a wooden. It's the internal, the passive nature, like kind of you put everything and suppress it into yourself. So those who follow the mainstream path of mediocrity are essentially devoid of life force and lacking in a true sense of purpose. These are people whose words and actions may be of some service to the world, but who at the same time lack fire and grit. Such lives are wooden lives, and such people have allowed themselves to become hollow. Hollow, yeah. They gave up on their dreams somewhere between being a child and growing into an adult. Yeah, they become or have become or are hollow. In a sense, a ghost, or like a ghost of what their fullest potential could be in a way. So they just wander around this work and think like, what is my purpose in life? There is no purpose. Okay, next. Yeah, something like this. Reactive nature is artificial mediocrity. In the reactive nature, this spirit is channeled into the world where it creates an illusion of itself based upon its dreams. Such people live purely artificial lives. There are a lot of very successful, also in the monetary aspect, very successful people who live an extremely artificial life, and they are not in a way abundant or full of peace and love and freedom. Everything they do is based on division, on like a fake kind of life they build up, and this is the way they express it outside. It's like they react from what they have inside, like this deep pain and suffering and fear. They project this outside and check to make it less, so they have less suffering in a way. So they project everything outside. I would not love to live a life like that, and I'm happy that that it seems like I'm not doing so. So I hope you also don't do so, because yeah, or if you do so, I really wish that you discover this by yourself, and that you are honest enough to, it's all about honesty, to discover this either like reactive or repressive side. You have to be really honest to yourself and check inside, and also what you have created outside, and check like if this is what you are truly are capable of, if this is style, or if you are just a copy of society and someone else's dreams also. Let's go into the gift style. The rebel with a cause. That's great. This AIDS gift catches people's attentions because it brings something into the world, something fresh into the world. The gift of the style has little to do with our popular interpretation of this word. It has more to do with the following of your own unique rebellious spirit out into the world. True style cannot be measured by materialistic trappings, nor can it be faked. It is a natural flowering of your individuality. It also involves traveling along paths that involve risk, but only as society defines risks, or a risk in general. Style is more than skin deep. It is the cutting edge of creation itself. Individuals manifesting this gift have surrendered themselves to a creative process that controls them rather than them controlling it. Creativity can be a thankless business. Oftentimes an individual is so ahead of his or her time or own time that their uniqueness is not appreciated until after their death, which can be considered as another fear of mediocrity, to say, look, this world is so mediocrity. If I bring my style into the world, no one will be able to see it, and your belief systems convince you that it's not worth to bring your style and exquisiteness into this world, because to the belief systems it seems very dangerous to leave the old conditionings behind and follow really your highest purpose. It's also written here, that's also very complementary to what I just told. Style is dangerous to society and its logical, structured systems-based thinking and infrastructure. It is dangerous because it mimics nature, which is so often, or which so many systems try to control and explain. Like nature, style is given shape by a wild, organic and unpredictable energy. It is full of genius and quantum leaps. For the individual, the AIDS gift brings a deeply fulfilling sense of purpose, but so often these individuals find themselves unable to interface their gift with the world. So it's kind of like in another way what I also just told. It really needs a lot of courage and a lot of confidence into yourself, into the higher part of yourself, and to everything you are, to bring your style into this world and express it here and embody it, for example. Fortunately, free thinkers who find their own sense of style are not really concerned with fitting in. I agree with that. Probably you are too, I guess, otherwise you wouldn't watch this video. Their only concern is to free more freethinkers. Such freedom is truly contagious. Such people inherit a powerful mission in the world, even so they may not see it that way. Finally, this AIDS gift is about actually manifesting individual dreams rather than simply dreaming about them. That's so important and so big, because it's so easy that we just say like, tomorrow, and my next point that I wish to do and I think I would like to do and create is this and that, and maybe like I write this book next year, or I think about writing this, and I'm feeling a bit of doing like maybe this business, and always like this distracting beliefs keep you in this mediocrity of saying like, okay, it's not time now, it's not time today, let's do it next year or in 2 years, where it's fitting better for society, for yourself, for your growth. And it's always like this circle of putting it into the future and never living the dreams and embody it now. And this is so important. And these belief systems, this limiting, are always checking to keep us on the verge of experiencing life how it could be. And let's go into the Siddhi, exquisiteness, the eternal love knot. Exquisiteness hints at a beauty that is beyond all words. You shine like a diamond in the heart of creation, and wherever you look, you see other diamonds in various states of clarity, each one unique and each one exquisite and incomparable. Very deep knowledge or wisdom, wisdom from the book. Yeah, it's really about living your own style fully and expressing and embodying it, and whether like you feel or you know or you believe or you think or whatever, what another one is doing is not living in their style. It's actually you see how they live in the style even while not living in their style. It's like totally paradoxically, it's like all the time, like you see someone, you see their highest potential and their style, even if they may still be in this shadow of mediocrity, you still see like this light at the end and this higher aspects of the Siddhi of their being, and you also fully accept where they are now at this moment. Even if they are fully in the shadow, you accept it, and that doesn't mean you have to kind of put a lot of time into a relationship to a person like that. If you know and believe and you experience that it's not fitting for you, at the same time, all of the individuals you meet and see, you just accept how they express their lives, and you don't like push them to do something that you think they need to do, and you feel and you know you're like, oh, they should do another thing now. And so exquisiteness is letting everyone, it's like a very love, an unconditional love, and deep understanding experience of acceptance also. So you see also the raw diamond in a way in every, or within every soul and individual. You remain differentiated at the level of form, but at the collective universal level, your awareness permeates all forms, making you both a drop in the ocean as well as the ocean itself. What a paradox. Yeah, what a paradox. But yeah, paradoxes are here to be paradoxes, so nothing else to tell about them. Your true nature is wildness. There is no taming where the divine is concerned, and this state of exquisiteness sees through mankind's many veils. All systems breaks down under this wild, ebullient energy that comes straight from the source of creation. Another one. This is also the origin and meaning of the famous Zen saying, you can never step into the same river twice. This saying points to the truth of the eighth Siddhi, the truth of human nature. Like water, it is always moving, changing and evolving, but the river itself is unchanging, and the river is consciousness. So it's like the river moves, and the water inside the river somehow is looking always like the same. At the same time, it's never like the same. Something like this. So it's very funny. Yeah. The great avatars and the sages who walked among us expressed the true nature of this Siddhi. Yeah, they have to be. Or they had to be, have to be, whatever. Our most common mistake lies in trying to emulate such people, which immediately takes us away from our own uniqueness and drops us back into the shadow of mediocrity. One of the most important teachings in whole existence is exactly this, that we are also individual, and as soon as we follow someone else, even if we say like, this is an inspiration, however, like our belief system, our limiting say like, this is like how I want to be. This is, for example, let's say Eckhart Tolle. You want to be exactly like Eckhart Tolle, and you say like, this is how I want to be. And it cannot happen, and then you are dragged back into the mediocrity, because maybe you just have a different expression, and like the being of Eckhart Tolle that represents this presence and this in the now living, maybe it's just not your internal individual soul being. So when you follow that in a way, and you want to be exactly like him in a way, then you are directly in the mediocrity again, in a way. Or maybe not, who knows? Maybe that's also a paradox. The people of the eighth city are not leaders, they are examples. They do not want anyone to follow or mimic them. Wherever such people see the inauthentic or imitative, their very nature exposes its ugliness. Because of this trait, they have a very powerful liberation effect on individuals. At the same time, they are often criticized and spurned by society. Like Socrates, they wish for people to find their own answers and their own questions. Their very presence acts as a light to free individuals from structured systems. Their language is the language of the rebel, and they use beauty as a means to reflect an individual's true nature. There's nothing else to say about this, right? It's just pure beauty, and at the same time, it can trigger the hell out of people that are into in some shadow state, you know what I mean, in the shadow state of the eighth city, mediocrity. And so they, like, when people are in this, they may trigger the hell out of those people, because the people in the shadow states, they may be just hurt deeply, and from what this avatar, or like this very high enlightened being, has to say. At the same time, it still serves the purpose to wake up and to lighten up at the end. People of the eighth city sparkle like exquisite, rare jewels, like a diamond kind of, or like any kind of jewel. These are the only people who are not strangers in the world, since they are inside existence itself. To them, the only outsider in the world are those who look outside themselves for guidance or definition, and the only strangers in the world are those who spend their lives in imitation of someone else, because that is what makes them strangers unto themselves. The only thing that they give the world is their own exquisite lovingness, the absolute delight in being abandoned to the mystery itself, with no need for method or meaning. That's it for this week's Chinky. Let me check to put it also into an I did not talk like about experiences, or like about kind of like what's going on in me and where I see myself. I told at the beginning that this is also Chinky that really deeply is resonating with me. It's, first of all, it's in my profile, also in my Venus sequence, and in interesting position. And a lot of my life I had been in this mediocrity style, and I still, even if I did like something kind of different in a way, I always did. In a way, it was still mediocrity. Let's give you an example. When I was like a child, very small child, I always wanted to get a football player and a football star, which didn't work fully out. Then I was very unhappy about everything. And then later in my puberty, I played a lot of computer games and get checked to be a very great player in the computer industry that is growing a lot also. And I really, even if it was kind of like I did my own style, I still had this mediocrity that I wanted to be like other players, that I exactly wanted to be like them, and that's why I could never express my own full style into like also this industry. And this happened also later when I started to go into making my own business in my early 20s, that I always like pursued others in a way by reading books, checking what others did. And at the start, I never really implemented it to my own style. And this just occurred in the last 3-4 years now, or 2 years was Beyonduality, especially with what I'm doing now. It's totally my style. I love to do it. And no one else does it like I do it. I'm totally in my unique style. No one can copy me. And it's totally different. And so there's a lot of, how to say it? There's a lot of very funny stuff about this, because when you are in the mediocrity, even let's say you are very successful and you are in the mediocrity, your belief systems you're limiting convinces you that, look, you are successful, you have the money, you have the house, you have the dream life, you maybe live somewhere on an island, and at the same time, like your individual style and exquisiteness is not shown fully, because you still have these expectations of you to put stuff into the future and to be like someone else in a way. You still in a way also there is like some lack of self-worth, like you are not fully considering your individual worth to bring it out into the world and the style, because you feel like it might be not the right place and people might not be something interested in what you're doing. And at the same time, it's really like that. I also, like the last 4 years, I'm doing daily what I'm doing now in a different aspect, just for 2 years now with Beyonduality kind of. And like 1 year I make the blogging and the YouTube now, and all of like building the fundamentals of my style. And before that, it has been different. It has not been like that, even if I felt I kind of move in my own style. So it's very funny to also explain this, and this it's a very different to be in your own style than not being in your style, because a lot of times when you are in your own style, or you move out of mediocrity into your own style, it takes a long time until anyone notices what you're doing, until anyone appreciates what you're doing, until anyone like really also is able to understand what you're doing. And most people give up in that sense, and then they leave their style behind and go back to their mediocrity. That is the biggest point why most people are still in mediocrity, because at some point they notice that it takes too much time and effort in a way, even if it felt great at first, to still follow their own style. I really hope that made sense for you, this funny explanation in a little bit of paradoxically way also. And thank you again for watching this one. Somewhere should something pop up, thumb ups for the video whenever you love it. Sharing is also very much appreciated. And see you in the next contemplation of the next Jinky, which will be the 20th Jinky, which is actually my radiance of the activation sequence. So this is also a big topic for me, as like also the 8th Siddhi is. Both are very important, and in a way they're very important for every human being and every soul on planet, because they relate to a lot of genetic topics that humanity lives out. So thank you very much for watching this video, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.